Thanks a lot. My name is Wambugu Nyamu, and I've been in this electronic manufacturing for the last 20 years. And I'm also in farming, and I'm also in construction. And what I'll tell you is that I've been trying to follow up the proposals from yesterday. And first and foremost, we start with the basic, that is increment in fuel VAT from 8% to 16%. That alone will push the cost of fuel up. And that means each and every product that exists in this world will go up. And it's not going to augur well for business, because transport is the basic thing for business. Don't also forget, when the fuel price goes up, we are still using diesel generators in this country for power. So that means the cost of power will also go up. And when the cost of diesel, or the cost of fuel and the cost of electricity goes up, definitely everything is going to go up. And we are going to push the level of taxation up. I don't know how the government thinks is going to get more money from that, because what we've been seeing for the last 2 years, since 2021, is reduction in business, coupled with the fact that now the dollar is on free fall. Kenya shilling is on free fall against the dollar, against the euro. Now we are talking about dollar, we are heading to 140. Euro now we are heading to 150. Pound we are heading to 180. Some of us who depend on raw materials from outside, it's becoming quite difficult. And if you look now at other costs, now we've been added another 1.5 tax. We've been paying for even NHIF. These things have not been working. Sometimes they're even forced to take care of issues of employees. You're also paying for pay. It's a myriad of things that are happening. And I don't think this was the right time to increase taxes, because I do believe there were other ways of trying to save so that we can reduce our expenditure. Shooting the current budget from the previous figure to about 4.5. Why don't we go back to zero rating? Why don't we redo the budget afresh instead of doing it and increasing it and all that? Do we really need 4.5 to run this government? Do we have other ways where we can reduce cost? This country is known, and we have known for years, the biggest problem with this country is corruption, graft, and theft of public resources money. Number two, we have too much of a bloated government. And I do feel instead of the current regime trying to raise taxes, we should have tried to work on waste. Waste one. And you've had even their economic advisor talking about waste in government. And also we fight graft, and we fight graft because it is known that most of the projects that run in this country, most of the programs that we run in this country, it is known that more than 30% money goes to individuals' pockets. And we should rethink as a country. These county governments, do we need those so big county governments? Can we reduce them? Some of these services, they are replicated. Come to health, it's a devolved function. Agriculture is a devolved function. So should we duplicate those functions? How much money are we giving the Minister of Agriculture vis-a-vis the money we are giving to the county government?
So maybe according to you, the budget is not fair to Kenyans?
It is not logical, not even fair. I don't think it's logical. I think there are better ways of reducing the budget other than increasing the budget. Yeah. I worked with the government for 14 years, and I went through the budgetary process. And in most cases, when these budgets are being done, it's like, dreaming big. I think this is a time that we should not dream big. We should a little bit dream small. Again, and I have a problem. When you talk about the economy, and you talk about the bottom up, really, are we doing the right thing? When we dealt a blow to things like Kazi Mtaani, did we really help the economy, or are we killing the economy? If we stop the infrastructural projects, are we helping the economy? Are we killing the economy? It's very easy, and I've been calculating it very easily. Here, when you were here last time, you found about 58 workers. Now you can see there are about 7. Not that I want to reduce business. It's the way business is. And, I rely on the matatu industry. And the matatu industry, it also relies on the people they move on a daily basis. So I want to look at one example of where this government has really lost it, what you call the kazi mtaani, because these young people, or those people who used to do kazi mtaani, every 2 weeks they used to be paid about 5,500. You see here, I'm surrounded by low-income areas, and Nyeri generally is not as high-income area as people think. So when these people get about 5,500 every 2 weeks, what do? They're in Kiawara, they're in Majengo, they're in the villages. What do? They go to the shops, they buy. They go to Shushinas, they go to boutiques. Money from the ground starts coming from the ground. It goes up. People have disposable income. They can move around. When they move around, my matatu people become very busy. They move up and down. When they move up and down, every year they bring me money here. So when there is no money at mashinani level, definitely the economy is not going to grow. Look at construction sector, and I'll give you an example. This company of Wambugu, it's called what? The construction company, this big one in Nyeri, Robin Abadea. You know, we were seeing on average it employs about 2,000 people in a day for the projects it was doing in Nyeri. And you know, those people, on average, they were being paid about 600. So per day. So one person in a week is paid at times 6, is paid 3,600 times 2,000. You can imagine those kind of millions, because the construction sector was going on, and they get those hands from the rural villages. So you can imagine a place now like Mudinga, maybe there are about 500 young men, because he was constructing that low road. And women, those young men and women, those 500, they are getting an average of 4, including food, is about 4,000 shillings in a week. So if you multiply by the 500, you can see the amount of thousands that were pumped into that shopping center every week. So the economy was to grow. Now these things have been pulled out. So there is no money mashinani. So what do you want to tax? Who are you going to tax? Where are you going to get this money to tax, to get taxed? Lastly, and I think this should be very controversial, what drives a country is the rich. It is the rich that drives a country. I have employed people here because I'm rich. If I was poor, I would not be employing people. I would be an employee. During our last campaigns and even now, we still have this vendetta against the rich, what you people politically call the dynasties. And I think it's high time the people in leadership now stopped their bravado and sat down with the rich in this country. I'll give you an example. The government tried to raise treasury bills of 20 billion. It could only raise 3.7 billion. Who buys these treasury bills and the bonds? It is the rich. You try syndicated loan from outside. Who advises those outsiders on those syndicated bonds? It is the rich. Now this regime has been fighting the rich from the time they started campaign. Even now they are still fighting the rich. They think by overtaxing the rich you will help the poor. No. You will not, because the rich are the employers. The rich are the drivers of the economy. We look at the construction center. How many of our contractors have not been paid? Most of them are firing people. So I think this government has a lot of wrong priorities when it comes to policies and governance. And I think we can help this country if we rethink our political strategy, we rethink our policies, and we rethink our leadership.
Thank you very much, Julius. That was Wambugu Nyamu, a business person here in Nyeri County, and we'll be closing over to the other side of Nyeri to speak to more residents. Back to you.